Dearest, beloved, divine friends and family, brothers and sisters, welcome to In the Raw, RK's Guyana Free Media. And I'm your host, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan. Friends and family, brothers and sisters, as usual, I don't like to waste time. So I just finished my exercise and I'm just taken back with the front page of the KAIETEUR news. Just taken back with it, and I am very, a bit somewhat disturbed. What is going on in our country and why we can't have proper things put in place. And even if lands and so on were given out earlier, why we can't have the necessary legislation to pull them back, including oil blocks. Now, Minister Darulal halts the process to hire a company founded by his son. I'm so upset about this because it's such a nasty attempt by a man who's known for nastiness, Ganesh Mahipal. Picked up some information through some way from the Ministry of Local Government. And my understanding is the company Designs is known to be supplying the ministry for many years. And that they're very well known and their prices are usually very good. And from what I gather, it's a contract for about 80 under $100,000. And the man don't own the business. He was the founder, and it is now owned by a set of other people. But they use his name because he was a young man with a great vision. I'm so disappointed with the nastiness of some political desperados. When a man like Ganesh Mahipal comes out with something and try to destroy a youth, you must know how evil he is. I don't know why he don't concentrate his energy on converting. He seems to know a lot about poultry. He wants to turn all the Gaisuku locations into poultry farms, which means he understands a lot about poultry poo. So my advice, which is a good thing, poultry poo could be used to prepare compost and can be bagged for agriculture purposes. And instead of sitting down and talking and digging and smelling and talking nonsense, this man, Ganesh Mahipal, should be dealing with poultry poo and converting it into mold that he could make some money with. Now, this young man name, he's trying to damage because the young man had founded a company and passed it on to his colleagues. And such a small, little, next to nothing contract. Guess he doesn't have any work to do, and he was put there for that, to be used for exactly that purpose. Like the others, it's obvious to me he is just he is not really relevant, but put to be used, expendable. He's expendable, so to say. So they put him to do the dirty job. Friends and families, the other important part here of the newspaper that I'm seeing is Kanji block owners sold the shares 6 weeks after receiving the block. What a horrific thing that we are giving away our oil blocks as if it's nothing. Then the guys go and sell it and they make hundreds of billions of dollars and they are smiling and laughing and mocking at us. Something like what the late and former President Forbes Burnham did by closing down the railway line, selling it out to a man in England, and the man in England sold it for, I don't know, some people say 10, some people say 100 times in Africa. This is what is wrong with our people. If you are giving oil blocks, you have to have some, and same thing with our gold mining lands. If they are selling it out or passing it on to another people, they must be able to get 50% of the sale price. 50% for our country. Nobody should be walking away with hundreds of millions of US dollars and hundreds of billions or any cent or any dollar just like that for being a shrewd middleman. I think our government needs to deal with these matters expediently and to put things in place. What about taxes? Have they paid any taxes in our country for those monies? For example, gold fields were sold. They didn't pay a cent of tax, but they have to pay tax in Canada. And they walk away with hundreds of millions of dollars after building a few tents and digging a few holes and bringing a few neither here nor there machines. Guyana is in a strange place. On that, the publisher's note is this. In excess of $100 billion American dollars of our oil wealth were given away by PPPC leaders. I hope this is not true. And I'm hoping that His Excellency, former President Dr. Jagdeo, will address the nation on this. With the coalition and civil society remaining silently consenting, in other words, civil society shut up, and the coalition also shut up. So he is holding everyone responsible. To cheat and insult us further, Guyana must pay the owners of Mid-Atlantic, who handed government a bill without detailed information for Guyana, $100 million in pre-contract costs related to that same oil block. So they're developing it a little bit, little Mickey Mouse way. And then $100 million they want us to pay them. We have got no money out of that billions that they have sold the oil blocks for, and they want us to pay. Something is really wrong with our system. President Dr. Irfan Ali, I think you need to study what's happening here quickly, put things in place, pass laws so we can deal with these things retroactively. We must be able to get 50% plus their share of their profits of taxes must come to our country. We need to live. We have poor people in this country. We have infrastructure to construct. So I'm appealing to our beloved President, Dr. Irfan Ali, and Vice President, Dr. Jagdeo, and Prime Minister Mark Phillips, my Honourable Minister of Natural Resources. It was a ludicrous bill without explanation. Separately, we have asked for months on our front page who owns the Kanji and KAIETEUR oil blocks. Two men whose names appear on incorporation documents. The first said he cannot recall legalese for covering up. He cannot recall. So they're saying this is a legalese term that is used for cover up because they can't recall. While the other stated that his hearing is not like before, which means he can't hear well. All right, so two that was there, they can't hear well, and the other one can't remember. Meanwhile, President Irfan Ali and Vice President Jagdeo and the coalition leaders, Joseph Harman and Raphael Trotman, are extremely silent more and more. Guyana's oil is like a graveyard, frightening silence and holes dug by government and opposition leaders to bury all of us. I am saying that we must remember we have something called future generations. We don't want to turn like Aruba. Fortunately, they have sand, and they have wind, and they have good sun. So they were able to turn their country into a mecca of tourism. We don't have those kinds of things. But still, it's not good enough. They are in trouble because of the pandemic. They might starve because they can't grow any food on their land. Because the Spanish had drawn out all the gold and all the resources that they had and took everything away and left them with bare sand and stone and sun. So we don't want that for our country. We have future generation, and I think our leaders need to deal with this matter quickly, haul them in, and either go into negotiation for 50% of all the money. So what are these guys going to do with all this money? You know, when people get more money, ladies and gentlemen, than brains, something horrific and terrible happens. When people get more money than brains. And then they want more money. And then this one here has lost his memory. And the other one can't hear too well because he's gotten old, or so to say. What ridiculosities and nonsensicalities, if you were to ask me, my beloved dear friends and families. Going on to the front page of the KAIETEUR News, applications pouring in for the telecoms sector. Well, we know the telecoms has been liberated, so to say. GT&T, as it was, had done its own great service. Let us imagine what Guyana would have been like without GT&T. So let us not curse GT&T. Let us not curse those who served us, but thank them and bless them and wish them well in the now liberalized sector and thank them for their service. I know some people are upset and annoyed, but throughout the world you go, with telecom and electricity, not all peoples are always happy. So let us give thanks and say thank you to GT&T for having been there for us. Mother 26 dies after bike smashes into quarantine steel rail. Oh my God. You recall some time ago, ladies and gentlemen, that was the start of the RKS Guyana Free Media, whereby by what they call that, by the Better Hope Bridge, the double bridge there, when they had built the road, I saw the cars was flying in there, and people would die, and they need to put up rails, and I raised that, and then it got traction, and they put some in barrels with water. Then Guyanese start stealing the barrels, and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, do excuse me, right? I just finished my exercise, and you know how I am with my exercise. It is important, and when you reach my age, you need to take care of yourselves. So, then they put up a steel bar eventually, but they didn't put no reflectors. I have to offer them that I can put on the reflectors if you can't do that. And the minister then of infrastructure has sent off his PR officer. They met with me and so on, and eventually they put on some reflectors. And before that, somebody did fly in and went into the canal. I don't know whether they died but the cars got severely damaged. Now look at this. I don't know if this child realized that and there was no reflector. I don't know. But it's sad that this young lady had to die. A mother, 26 years of age. Oh God, the children now to grow up without a mama. Oh God, God bless her soul, and her husband without his wife. Notorious wanted man shot after found hiding under a bed. That is very interesting indeed, and that is on page 19. Notorious man. So, page 19, but I'm not seeing it. Guyanese man sues Caribbean Airlines. I dealt with that yesterday. It might come out in the newspaper, in Arcus Guyana Free Media this evening. And this is, I've seen the motorbike crushed up here. And it seemed there was another person who died in that accident. It's Radha Shivcharan, pretty young lady. What a very, very sad and painful thing. It says page 19, but is it page 19 or page 16? Page 19, but it's not there. So ladies and gentlemen, then I see another article in there whereby, oh God, bartender shot and tied during Sophia gambling dispute. Bartender shot. Why do you do illegal things? Why do you get into trouble? To hurt yourself. Now you're damaged for life. The other man might be caught and he might go to jail. Guyana streams ahead with Quarantine River Bridge. I made some comment on that earlier, and